This is the Hope Not Note podcast,
where we answer your questions and share inspirational stories to fill your soul with hope.
Our mission is to empower hope to those who have been plagued by note.
I'm Dr. Dillon Caswell.
And I'm Brandi.
And we're here to bring you out of the note and into hope.
Welcome to the Hope Not Note podcast. We are in our new era of the Hope Not Note podcast, meaning that we're sharing our hopeful and empowering stories at the end of each episode and starting each episode with a question. Are you ready for the question, Dillon?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. All right. Our question is from a listener named Ken, and he asks, I have no previous experience with exercise and have recently gained more weight than I would like. In order to lose weight and become more healthy, what should I eat and how should I exercise?
I think we should start by just giving a round of applause / pat on the back to Ken. Snaps for Ken. Because that's a question I think a lot of people have, but they're not willing to ask. Because a lot of people can get embarrassed about the way that they put on through the years. And it's a hard topic to have a conversation on. But I love that he mentioned, I don't have previous exercise experience and I've gained weight, which tells me that Ken is thinking potentially, well, to lose weight, then I should be exercising. And that's a great place for us to start, because to simplify this, if you want to lose weight, the formula is simple. Your caloric intake has to be lower than your caloric expenditure. That's going to equal weight loss. And while we're on that subject with that formula, healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. Not 30 pounds in a month, not a crazy detox. 1 to 2 pounds of weight per week lost is a healthy weight that shows us that you're going to be successful in the long term of this. But back to the point of, I have no exercise experience in that formula. That formula does not say caloric expenditure equals exercise. It's just movement. Some people want routine, they want structure, they're working towards a performance goal in which they need a specific exercise program. Other people, they're so fearful of movement because we've been just led on this path that movement needs to be this very packaged thing, and there needs to be very particular sets and rep schemes. Most of the time you show people movement and their first question is, okay, how many should I do? And we go, well, what's the goal? If the goal is hypertrophy, then this is a rep scheme. Here's the intensity we want to perform it at. But if we're just talking about movement, how much should you do? Well, the amount that's right for you. And how do you know the amount that's right for you? The amount that you can be consistent with over time. Because that consistency is what's going to lead to your caloric expenditure being higher than your caloric intake over time, which is going to allow the caloric deficit that's going to allow you to actually start to lose that weight. So even with no previous exercise experience, I would ask, do you have any movement experience? What movement to you is fun? Is it walking? Is it skipping? Is it a martial arts? Is it kickball? Is it jumping on a trampoline? Is it freeze tag? Is it spike ball? Like what movement gives you joy? And if it gives you joy, then can we do that consistently throughout the day? You see, so many people will go into the week and they're, okay, I got to get my caloric expenditure up. I got to move. So they move 1 to 2 times a week with high intensity training. But then the other 5 days, they're couch potatoes. Not because they want to be, but because their body is just fatigued and exhausted. We got to find the movement that gives you joy, that movement that you're excited to do every single day, whatever that may be. And then once you're doing that, you start to realize that I need to eat food that gives me the energy to do that particular activity. Because that's what a calorie is. A calorie is energy. And when we start looking at our diets as I'm eating for energy to do the things that bring me joy and fulfillment, then we start to make better diet choices.
Yeah, I think of one of my friends, and she's pretty active. She plays volleyball, like at a sand court in an adult league and things like that. But almost every time I talk to her on the phone, she goes for a walk. And I think that I know that she personally loves walking. She likes to walk because then, you're going through your neighborhood, you're seeing trees, you have fresh air. Like there's just enjoyment in walking for her. And so I think of both the joy and the movement exercise, but in addition to that, she's on the phone with someone who is filling her cup, who's
Mm,
lifting her up and helping her along in her journey, or for me it's a friend, or if she calls a family member, whatever. Like I guarantee almost every time she's on the phone with someone, she's talking or she's walking or moving or doing something. And I think that we often get fixated on, oh, I have to do this specific training program, when in reality, it's the simple solutions and finding joy in those simple things. And if you struggle inviting someone into that, like, not that she's inviting it, but I think of our listeners maybe can, like, if you want to go for a walk, but you're not feeling either motivated or you feel lonely on the walk, but you enjoy walking, but you need that extra thing, maybe try calling someone while you're on the walk, because then you have the enjoyment of the movement and seeing nature and stuff like that. But then you also have the enjoyment of getting your cup filled and filling someone else's cup if you're on the phone.
yeah, absolutely. And just find what you're passionate about.
Mhm.
It might be LARPing. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, like,
LARPing.
yes, like live action role play.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, I haven't seen any research on this, but I'm sure they're burning a bunch of calories.
When I was in college, there were so many people that LARPed around campus, and those people move.
Right? And I had a roommate back in college that Colonial Foot Soldiers, shout out to Colonial, who played Quidditch. He was on their college Quidditch team. They went to the Final Four. I used to
Wow.
joke around with him and say, I'll hide the vacuum, because that's basically the steroids of Quidditch, is if you show up with a vacuum instead of a broom. But it was the activity that he enjoyed. Yes, he's running with a broomstick, like
Mhm.
riding it around, but guess how many calories he's burning in
Mhm.
that activity and how long he's doing it because he enjoys it.
Mhm.
And that's what it's about, finding those things that you really really look forward to doing. And then what should you eat? Well, when you find that thing that you want to be doing, then you need the fuel to be able to do it. So you're going to start fueling yourself with the foods that are nutrient dense, and you're going to get your proteins, you're going to get your carbs, you're going to get your fats, because that's going to sustain you for doing that activity.
Mm.
So I hope that kind of answers the what should I eat without getting into the very specifics. But I will add in that a lot of times when we're working with clients and the goal is, well, I don't, I don't know if people truly want to lose weight versus losing fat and having a better figure.
Mm.
Because the reality is, a lot of people, and I get it, they want their body to look good. They want to look at their body and be proud of the temple that's carrying the soul. So I understand that. I fully get that. But I think the real thing that people are saying is, can we get rid of some of this fat
Mhm.
I have on me? And the answer to that is yes. And if we turn it to muscle, your metabolic rate, your muscles are expensive. So you're going to be burning more throughout the day when you have more of a muscle mass. Muscle is more dense than fat. So it may look like you're actually gaining weight, but the reality is you're gaining muscle. It's more dense. Your body fat percentage is going to go down. Your waist circumference is going to go down. Your clothes are going to be fitting different. You're going to look better. You're going to move better, and you're going to improve your longevity of your health span by having more muscle on you. So I think we want to rephrase that. But to that, we will tell people, one, don't miss out on a food group.
Mhm.
Don't fall for these fad diets. You need protein, you need carbs, you need fat. Have more protein in the morning. It's going to sustain you longer throughout the day, where you don't feel these hunger spells coming on. So we like to have a heavy protein breakfast that kind of lasts us through the day. Other people will get caught up by using caffeine, because they'll drink that and then they'll be like, oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not hungry. But the reality is, as we get older, it's not that we just gain weight because we get older. We gain weight because we're more stressed, we move less, and we're actually not eating enough calories. The calories that we are eating tend to be junk, or when we're stressed, our body digests and metabolizes a little bit differently. So if we can look at it and go, oh, you know what? As I've gotten older, I have gained weight. And part of it is because I've become less active. The calories that I'm getting are really empty calories. They're not nutrient dense. I'm not getting enough protein throughout the day. Like, all of these things matter.
Mhm. Mhm. Ken, I hope that that helps with your question. I also think if you have additional questions that have to do with this, head over to our website and either ask again or message us or send us an email and we can answer it. We can get you set up potentially with our virtual hope coaching program. We're excited to be able to share more information about that, but that's all we can now for this specific episode. So feel free to reach out again.
Yeah.
Dillon, it's the end of the episode, which means we're sharing our hope stories. Why don't you kick us off?
For the hope story, I want to add in one other point.
Okay.
Just one other point, and then we'll go to the hope story.
Perfect.
Because people might be wondering about I have no previous exercise experience. And we said, that's fine. Do you have movement experience? So I think the next question becomes, well, when do you actually need a specific exercise program? And I think it boils down to if you're experiencing pain and you need a specific protocol with parameters that help you to mitigate that pain and get back to activity, that's a time that you'll need specific exercise. If you have a performance goal, you'll want to be in a specific exercise program that still has fun movements as part of it, but most of your movement is dedicated to that specific program because of the performance goal. Third, if you're fearful. But if you're fearful, it's because you've seen too many red X's and green check marks on Instagram and on other social platforms. Because what the research has shown us, and this is a topic that a lot of people get taken back by, they're a little, I don't know. Technique does not create injury. Intensity and volume and load creates an injury. People don't have skipping coaches. People don't have how to roll down a hill coaches. Kids do that because their movement system says, let's go and do it, because they don't really have fear. But then once an injury happens, once we start becoming a little bit more conscious and depending on what material we're taking in, we become fearful of injury. And sometimes having a specific protocol of movement gives you the graded exposure and the confidence for you to get out of the fear. But once you're out of that fear, I do this with our clients all the time. All right, you're not fearful of movement anymore, which means, and I've done this with some really, really type A people. We're shutting the doors in the gym. And for 45 minutes, I want you to play with all this equipment in here. No reps, no correct way to move. I just want you to move and have fun and go nuts. I was telling you this the other day that my friends and I, we used to go in the racquetball room at Upstate Medical, and we'd bring in volleyballs, basketballs, tennis, anything that we could. And we would just go nuts, throwing them off the wall, trying to dodge it, smash each other with the volleyball, just going absolutely nuts for like 10 minutes. You best believe your body was warmed up after that to go do whatever else you wanted to do.
Right.
But once you get past that fear point, then let's get back to realizing movement freedom, that you can do this and you're not going to get injured. But I get it. If you're super fearful of even getting started, then that's a good time to have a specific program.
Love it.
My hope story.
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback it right off that last point. One of my best friends, about a year ago, made the move in opening his own physical therapy clinic. It was a move that he had been thinking about for a while, and he came up and visited with us and one of our other best friends. And he decided to take that leap of faith that he was going to do it. And it was a tough decision. It was a hard decision because there was a lot on the line. And he said, you know what? No, I'm going to do this. And he did it. And a year later, he is now has hired a full-time PT to come on staff. And I am so proud of him because that is his mission. His mission is to allow other physical therapists to prosper and to value them and to be a good leader. And for all the leaders out there, like, what work environment are you creating? So it was awesome hopping on a call with him and just chatting and just saying, hey man, this is what you said to me at coffee the last time you came to visit. Was like, yeah, you want to open your own business, but the reason you want to do it is because you've gotten burned by other clinics, and I won't go into that. But now he has the opportunity to live out the mission and the vision that he has for this business. And it's the first stepping stone, and he's a little bit nervous about it, but he is going to crush it. And I'm just so, so proud of him. And it goes to show, like, when people step out and they start a business, he's a year into it before he was able to go, okay, I get to live out that mission now. I get to hire someone. I created a job opportunity, and now I get to take them under my wing and be a leader and set up a good work environment. But it took them a year of a lot of hard work in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited for him and just proud of him. And hopefully that inspires people to go and do what they're being called to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a phenomenal leader and a phenomenal person. And so it's exciting because I'm sure from the beginning he wanted help, but wasn't able to get the help just yet. But for him to now be able to have the help is gonna allow him to prosper as a leader as well, which is just so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're ever looking for a place in Raleigh, North Carolina, reach out to us and we will set you up with his
Yes.
clinic. Some of the best care that you'll get.
Yeah, 100%. My hope story is a little simple. If you're new to the Hope Not Know podcast, you should definitely go listen to episode 30 or even episode 1, where I share a little bit about my backstory of having an injury and being in chronic pain for nearly a decade and now being pain-free and being an athlete. But I bring that up because my hope story is more of a memory, but also just like an excitement and hopefully an inspiration for people like Ken or other people who are looking for this, like, okay, what can I do? What movement can I do? And I remember in the midst of my injury, I was again in chronic pain. I was probably 2, 3, 4 years post injury, but still in pain every day. And my brother, I was still living in Pennsylvania, or I would be home like over Christmas time, or excuse me, in the summer visiting my family. And my brother would invite me to play in like slow pitch softball leagues. And that was so good for my spirit because I grew up as a softball player. I played literally my entire career, basically, and my entire life. And so, like, I shared that because even though I was in pain, I was still able to play softball and I had the movement freedom in a way to be able to do that, even though I was in chronic pain. But it made me think about now my brother, at the time, my brother was in a slow pitch softball league, but he would also play flag football in an adult league. Now he also is in a kickball league. And I know around here there's volleyball leagues that go all year round. I know that pickleball is like a huge thing these days. And there's just so many different opportunities in communities, especially if you're in a city or near a city or suburb that you can go be part of. And so don't wait and don't hesitate to just do a quick research of like what adult summer leagues are there, especially with it being in the middle of summer right now. If you can't find on Google, I would almost Instagram like places in your area where you can like stay active and find community and stuff like that, because I think a big part of our fulfillment as people is having community. And so if you're able to also have community with you in this journey of becoming more healthy, I think that that is key.
Yeah. And if you're nervous to make that step, I get it, but I'll just share. We've worked with a few pickleballers and they seem to always travel with an extra paddle for anyone that wants to give it a shot, because no one grew up playing pickleball,
Right.
so everyone had that opportunity of someone going, hey, I don't care how well you play, just give this thing a shot. They have extra paddles that let you in. If it's spike ball has an app that you can go on their app, and it just literally, like, there's spike ball meetups.
Wow.
Like, you can go set up your net and then put it on the app, and then people that want to come play can come and show up.
That's
and those
awesome.
are just quick examples, but there's movement opportunity. There's much more movement opportunities in communities than what we think or know, even in like our small towns, that, like, not city run, but just community based ones. There's things happening. So just send an email, make a phone call, and then just show up. Once you show up and you see how welcomed you are, you're going to love it. If you don't feel welcome, get out of there.
Yeah.
Go find another one, because there's plenty of other ones.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for listening on Apple, on Spotify, or on YouTube. We would love it for you to rate this, give us a thumbs up, share it with a friend, because this message is for everyone. This message of hope is meant to empower you, and we hope that this episode empowered you today.
Have a great week, and remember, every day is not just a day to become hopeful. It's an opportunity to become hope.
The Hope Not Know podcast is meant for educational, informational, and personal development purposes only and does not constitute any health or medical advice. If you're looking for specific advice, connect with us to work with a Hope coach. The Hope Not Know podcast shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestions in this podcast.